Welcome to episode 94 of Timm Talk, the podcast about the DC animated universe co-created by Bruce Timm. I'm Chris Lord.
I'm Cameron Dexter.
And it's the season finale of Batman Beyond this week, which means Return of Blight.
Yes.
Which also means our episode shortlist for the season.
Very short shortlist.
Very short list, only 13 episodes. But before we get to that, there was some big news this week that I know is very, very exciting to really only one of us here. So, Cameron, how do you feel about the fact that Avatar is getting a Netflix live-action reboot?
I'm surprised I forgot to put that in my notes. It has been a hell of a week for that information. I think I had 7 people message me within an hour, just being like, "Have you seen this?" And I'm like, "Yes, of course I've seen this."
You're like, I'm still curled up in the corner crying.
It's a very bittersweet feeling of like, obviously more Avatar is great.
Yeah.
And having Mike and Brian back on board is great. Mm-hmm. But it's still a live action retelling. Like, I would have rather had another story.
Okay.
Either, we have the other Avatars. We could have we had a Roku 2-parter.
Okay.
Back in season 1. We only had 2 episodes about Kyoshi. She's still a complete mystery aside from Kyoshi's Island. Mm-hmm. And then the Avatars before, we had, a 2-parter about Avatar 1, who was the first Avatar. Like, there's, hundreds of Avatars before Aang that I would love to know their stories.
Yeah.
And then, we have post-Korra, where, like, is there an Avatar? Is she the last one because she, got rid of... I'm not going to go into all the details for you.
I will watch this at some point.
Yeah.
So.
But, yeah, it's a very weird feeling. Because, like, I want it so badly.
I know.
But I've been hurt so much.
Okay, well, I feel like Avatar was just the tip of the iceberg of news this week.
It really was.
Because we also got a shitload of trailers.
We did.
Yeah, so many. I mean, we'll talk about them quickly.
Hard, pulsing trailers.
So many trailers. Just a handful of trailers.
Yeah. Some might say 2 handfuls.
We got Mary Poppins 2.
Looks great.
I'm super, super excited for that movie.
When they showed the live action segment in the trailer,
the animated segment?
Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant. The 2D animated segment. I was so happy seeing Disney's 2D back.
I think the penguins are back, right? Mm-hmm. I think from what I saw.
Yeah, but we haven't had a 2D anything Disney 2D since Princess and the Frog almost 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah, that was
2009.
Yeah, it's been a long time. No, it looks great. I'm super excited. I was talking to someone recently, and they said they felt like Emily Blunt didn't feel like Mary Poppins yet. Mm-hmm. And I kind of get that critique a little bit, even though we only have seen a tiny little bit of her. And I think the problem is no matter who you bring in there, they're always going to feel like they're not Julie Andrews.
Right.
But I think other than that, if you're going to recast, I think she's still the best possible option. Mm-hmm. And the whole rest of that cast is amazing.
I'm really curious about Lin-Manuel's Bert. And also we saw that Dick Van Dyke is also in the movie.
He's
which
back.
Is so exciting.
Yeah, he
hopefully
is...
not with a British accent. It's a Cockney accent.
No, it won't be Cockney this time because it looks like he's playing a really old banker. So he's probably playing the old banker because he played the really old banker in the original movie. That character had a son. I imagine if I were to guess now, he's now playing that son older, which would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they didn't try and shoehorn him in as Bert when it's only been I guess it's been 20 some odd years, 20, 30 years since the last one in canon.
That was the second Mary Poppins?
No, since the first one. In the story itself, it's only been 20 some odd years. So I'm glad they didn't try and shoehorn him in there.
Yeah.
But I'm super excited for that
movie. Do you think we're going to get a Julie Andrews cameo?
That maybe. That might be too clunky.
You think so?
I mean, they might try and squeeze her in somewhere. I don't know. I just feel like they were smart about how they did Dick Van Dyke, and I would worry if they did Julie Andrews, it would be a bit too obvious. Mm-hmm. I just hope they don't go the Ghostbusters route and force cameos in that just pull you out of the movie entirely.
Unless it is Bill Murray and he is just in the movie.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Just Bill Murray playing himself.
Yeah.
He just got wandered through time and ended up in the past. And
he's just you see the 4 of the 5 penguins and then just Bill Murray in a suit next to them.
Just flapping around.
Yeah.
No, I would love it.
Mm-hmm. Random off-topic question for a half second. Mm-hmm. Judi Dench. Why does she always have Dame in front of her? Dame Judi Dench.
Well, because
Is that her real first name? Or is that a title?
it's a title. She has an
Okay.
OBE.
What does that mean?
What's like Order of the British Empire? In the same way that we get like
got it.
Sir Ian McKellen and Sir Patrick Stewart, the equivalent is dames. It's
Okay.
like Dame Maggie Smith, Dame Helen Mirren, Dame Judi Dench.
Okay. Because I was wondering, because I wanted to say Dame Julie Andrews.
Is she a dame?
I don't know.
I don't know either, actually.
That's why I was double checking.
You look that up while we talk about another trailer that was exciting, Captain Marvel.
It looks great.
Super excited for it. I mean, we talked a bit about the first photos, I think, on the last episode.
She is a dame.
She's a dame, as she should be.
Yeah. Oh, very much as she should be.
Yeah.
I'd be very surprised if she wasn't.
I'd be insulted.
Yeah, me
For
too.
myself, on her
I
behalf.
would fly to England for this great
And just go knock on
injustice.
Buckingham Palace.
Yes. Excuse me. I'm here on behalf of Julie Andrews. I do not know her personally. I'm not part of her fan club. I'm just very surprised with you and your decisions.
I have no affiliation with her whatsoever.
I have seen some of her movies, and I enjoyed them.
She's not liable for my actions right now, but you must remedy this situation immediately, ma'am.
Yes. Ma'am,
Ma'am, madame, madam,
madam,
your highness,
Queen Madam.
your royalness.
Yes. Please don't hurt me. I'm sorry.
Great English corgi master. Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel was great. I mean, there's so many just rumors flying around immediately, which is what we expected.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm doing my best to kind of just steer clear of that. I really just want to go in and just watch it and be entertained by it.
You're boring.
I know. We know I'm boring. Captain Marvel looked great. Wreck-It Ralph, new trailer.
Wreck-It Ralph looked amazing.
It did.
So excited. I'm happy we finally got a story, or kind of an actual story beat.
Yeah.
That wasn't just the princesses.
Right.
As much as I love seeing my girls,
The gals.
the gals,
The ladies. The dames.
the princesses,
Yes.
and one queen, because she's not a princess. Which one is it? Which one is it? If you get it wrong, I'm never gonna let this go.
Is it Snow White?
No, I literally just gave you the answer.
Oh, fuck. You're not going to let it go. Frozen. Elsa.
Yes, Elsa, Queen Elsa. Yeah.
I was tricking myself into thinking that, like, through the context of the story, one of them became queen at the end.
No, she became queen at the beginning.
Nope.
The whole
Nope.
the whole plot of the movie is she is running away from her coronation ceremony.
Okay, Bumblebee.
Just watched it.
Listing trailers at this point.
Yeah, loved it. Do you like it?
I did. I liked it a lot. I mean, I've never been a huge Transformers fan. Like, it doesn't matter
Same.
that much to me to see them in like their original format. But that being said, they look really cool in their old school
Yeah,
styling.
I think either we talked about it before. We talked with someone about it. Where like the original animation, not original, but like the Michael Bay animation was just this clunky metal moving around, and it was just kind of nonsense until
Yeah.
they became their normal form. And in this version, like you see the half transformations, which is really cool. There's the scene where Bumblebee still has like his bumper on his chest as he's trying to like get around things, and like the animation looks cleaner, and it looks like they're
It does.
actually coming from what they were made of, and they're not, changing from a bug into this 12-foot monster. We're like, that doesn't make sense
Yeah.
unless you're like paper thin.
It does seem weird to say that the designs seem much more grounded. It's weird to say that about a robot that transforms into and from a car.
Yeah.
But it does seem more grounded in their alternative aesthetic.
What's the word? What's the opposite of realism when it relates to film? I just watched a great two tendencies of film: realism and formalism. That's the one.
That's it.
Formalism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going for a more formalist feel, where like it's breaking the. Like, we don't need more realism. We have enough of that.
Yeah, we've had
and
too
you
much of
can't
it.
really make Transformers realistic. Like, they're fucking robotic aliens.
I know.
That turn into cars. They're made to brainwash children.
I mean, we can't blame The Dark Knight on the approach that they took with Transformers, because obviously Transformers came out before The Dark Knight.
Right. No, we blame Gladiator.
Oh, Gladiator's not a bad option. Yeah. Maybe, we could do Batman Begins, I suppose, or even Casino Royale. But like, there was just that wave of like a much more realistic approach to things that we have just gotten rid of entirely, which I'm very much in favor of. I think like Marvel has done a good job of embracing that and being more fun and playful, and I think this might be that case as well. So, I mean, okay, so of all of those though that are coming out basically at the end of the year, which one are you most excited about? Between Captain Marvel's March, but so between Bumblebee, Wreck-It Ralph, and Mary Poppins. And Venom, obviously. I know you're super excited
and Venom.
for that.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
For the movie Wreck-It Ralph, for the soundtrack Mary Poppins.
Okay, I'm just most excited for Mary Poppins.
Okay,
that's the one that I'm just cannot wait for.
I need to rewatch the original one because it's been years since I've seen it.
I just rewatched it like a couple months ago. It's one of my favorite movies. I'll watch it like at least once or twice a year.
Okay.
I
just rewatched Scott Pilgrim, so I get it.
I get it. I totally understand.
It's on Netflix now.
Yeah. Okay, but enough dancing around this. We are a DC podcast, and we did get a chance this week to see...
Oh, so you saw that... Wait, did you see the picture?
Well, yeah, we got to see a lot more of a character that we both love. I am, of course, talking about Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker in his Joker makeup.
I forgot we saw other news first.
Like, what else could I else be talking about? Anyways, did you see the Joker? What did you think of his Joker? You must have seen it, his Joker makeup.
Yeah, I tagged you in it.
Oh, that's right, you did. I forget these things.
Yeah. It's fine. It looks good. The more I look at it, the more kind of accepting I am of it.
I imagine this is like a mid-step.
Yeah. It's kind of like his first outing as the Joker.
It's like the Joker's version of a ski mask, I would guess. His first attempt at going.
I was comparing it to Batman Year One, where before he had the bat suit, he was kind of in the it's kind of the all black.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like his first outing.
Yeah, like the Daredevil black look. I don't know. I mean, I think this movie continues to still baffle me. I can't say I'm necessarily excited for it. I'm intrigued by it, and
that's all that DC wants.
Yeah,
they've given up on trying to impress the fans.
Yeah,
and so now they're just trying to get us to talk about it, good or bad.
Right. I would really like to just hear nothing else about this movie for another 6 months.
Same. Yeah.
But I feel like that's not going to be the case. I feel like because it's kind of not the most anticipated, but it's kind of the most interesting, I guess, DC movie currently in the works. It's the most weird one. I think it's the one people are most intrigued by. I think we're just going to keep seeing more photos and more stuff. And I'm I kind of want to avoid it, but I know it's going to be impossible because you open up any thread and it's just going to pop up left and right.
What I would love if they just went full guerrilla marketing for this, had no press at all, would have on the walls of LA, you would tag the walls with either Joker or with the smile or some icon that connects to the movie. And that would be the majority of the advertising. That would be cool. And then maybe have a trailer for another movie and have it kind of just frames, not even full scene, just 3 frames of the movie would cut to kind of this sinister smile.
That could be cool.
But if they did something just super bizarre, just don't give us anything else about the movie. Just go do it as the Joker would do it. The trailer just be the laugh. Black screen, the laugh.
You remember the original Dark Knight teaser? That's kind of it. It was just basically the Batman emblem, and then cracks were starting to form along it, and it was just little bits of dialogue coming through. And it was a very shortened version of Alfred's speech about letting someone want to watch the world burn. And then a brief bit of dialogue from the Joker, and then his laugh, and that was it.
Okay, I do remember that.
Yeah. Let's just do that again. Why not?
Yeah.
It worked once before.
Would it be weird if they had all of the Joker laughs from past? Okay.
Yeah, I think that would be... I mean, I feel like they're going to avoid the legacy element of the character on this. Probably. I think they're going to work really hard to try and make it feel like its own standalone thing. They're certainly going to ignore Jared Leto, as all the rest of us are doing anyways.
Yeah.
So, okay. I got one more piece of news here.
Okay. 1 or 2?
2, actually.
Okay.
One thing that I am...
Because there's one we've been waiting years for.
Long time.
The
longest time for.
Longer than a lot of people expected.
And finally, we got our first tease of what it's going to look like. We are, of course, talking about Space Jam 2. Space Jam 2.
Space Jam 2, baby.
Yeah, we got confirmation that Ryan Coogler is going to produce it.
Yep, which is awesome.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the director.
I think this is a great, like, this is how you intro a movie, especially a movie like Space Jam. Because the photo, if you haven't seen it, it's just the locker room from the first Space Jam. But the names, it's Bugs, it's LeBron, and then it's Coogler and the director.
It's really clever.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, it's a great way to go ahead and announce it.
I actually stumbled across old concept art when they first pitched Space Jam 2 back in '98.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was scrolling through just like animation reference, and I found a website that's just like a bunch of character model sheets. Going through the Warner Brothers one, and there was like an alien I didn't recognize, and at the top of the page it said Space Jam 2, 1998. I'm like, oh shit, these are old characters they pitched.
Yeah.
I guess they're all online now.
Oh,
so I'm
what?
sure that they're gonna have nothing to do with the current movie.
Yeah.
But it was really cool to see.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I haven't seen the first one in a long time, but I remember liking a lot as
How
a
dare
kid.
you?
When was the last time you watched it?
Within a year, that's for sure.
Why did I even ask that? Of course that was the answer. I should have known better. Yeah. No, I think this is going to be a lot of fun. Just anytime we get the Looney Tunes back on screen, I'm always happy.
I know. Did you ever watch Back in Action?
Yeah, it was fine.
Okay, I want to go back to it. Because I've heard, like, once you know Hollywood, then the movie's so much more entertaining.
I could see that.
Because there's a lot of inside joke. Because it's you're following Brendan Fraser's stunt double, played by Brendan Fraser.
Yes.
Where he has
that's
where
right.
In the movie, Brendan Fraser is just a total asshole and doesn't want to do anything.
Forgot about
that. So
that.
the stunt double is the one who's like, working his ass off.
Yeah. Isn't Timothy Dalton in it as the villain?
I think so.
Too?
I couldn't.
I just
tell you
remember
anything
they
else.
also had the like the spy car, and I actually had the toy of the spy car, which I
Good.
thought was like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Because it's a spy car. I had
Right.
to.
You have to.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of spies, one other little thing I do want to talk about real quick.
I was waiting for the.
No. We got a director for Bond 25.
Did we?
Yes.
I missed this.
Yeah. So it's Cary Fukunaga, who directed all of season 1 of True Detective.
Okay.
He also directed Maniac, which I know you were telling me beforehand you watched over the weekend.
That's right. That's where the name sounds familiar. I'll talk about it more in Bat Plugs.
Okay, yeah. I am so excited for this piece of news. I was always kind of like fine with Danny Boyle. I didn't quite ever see it. I'm really excited about this. I think he's a really interesting filmmaker. True Detective Season 1 is one of the greatest pieces of film, television, whatever you want to call it, ever made. And I think he's going to be an awesome choice. I think he's going to bring a lot of like personality to it as well.
That's super exciting.
Yeah, and I was a little bit worried about putting Bond in the hands of another director who wasn't like, who was trying to do their own thing. Because actually, at the end of the day, what made Spectre so shitty was that Sam Mendes pretty much made all of the really terrible calls on that, and the Broccolis let him do it. I wanted to see someone else come in who maybe had a bit more influence on the Broccolis. It was coming from an in-house script rather than from an external. I think this is all really good news. So damn excited. It got pushed to 2020 now, which kind of sucks, but it'd be worth the wait.
Yes.
Know what else is worth the wait?
I don't know where we're going with this anymore.
Batman's dick.
Bat dick.
Finally got around to it.
Okay. We've been teasing it just as long as DC has.
Finally got a chance to see it. Yes, as I'm sure everyone who listens to this had heard, in Brian Azzarello's Batman Damned #1. And I know he did the Joker comic from a long time ago. I've never read, which I've heard good things
I think I own it
about.
because I remember the cover.
Yeah, the
And I
cover is
think
really weird looking.
Yeah.
I never actually read it, but the whole thing with this new comic, and I actually do want to go pick up an issue. Not
Batman Maniac, right?
But
what's the name of the new one?
oh, the new one is Damned #1.
Damned, okay.
Batman Damned, yeah, because it's launching the equivalent of like the Marvel Max line, like the R-rated version of their comics. I thought the best way to do that was to include some bat peen. No complaints. But I guess the story of it is that
There's a story.
there's a story.
I
Yeah,
thought you opened the comic as one page.
I'd still buy it,
And then just
obviously.
30 pages of advertising.
Yeah. So much bat dick. But no, the story is the Joker's dead and Batman can't remember if he did it or not.
That's right.
And so the scene that everyone's talking about is he gets back to the Batcave and he is basically stripping down and having the Bat computer analyze him for any sort of brain abnormalities and injuries and that sort of thing. And as he's stripping down, we just kind of hidden in the shade, just emerging through the darkness.
Really just a silhouette. And that's all you need.
Yeah. it's a little bit of flesh.
Yeah.
But
and it erupted the nerd community in the funniest way.
In the same way that everyone reached out to you when the Avatar news broke, I had so many people messaging me being like, Chris, this falls in the middle of the Venn diagram of your interests. Mm-hmm. What do you think about some bad dick?
I was on my way to Disney when you texted me that. Yeah, because my office gave me the day off on Wednesday. And so I was driving with my 2 friends down to Disney. And you sent me the text, like, have you seen the news? And I'm like, what are you talking
Batman
about?
news.
The Batman news. And I was like, oh, Batfleck finally quit. Mm-hmm. We got a new actor. We got a new, thing about the movie. And I hand my phone to Sarah, and I'm like, hey, can you see the link that Chris just sent me? And she's just like, what is this? I'm like, what? And she just like shows me the title. It's like, we finally see the Bat Dick, and we're not talking about Dick Grayson. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, no, oh, yes.
Oh.
So she saw it before me. She is not as big into those 2 communities.
As I am?
Yeah.
All I can say, it was a great day to meet me.
Mm-hmm. And if for the people who want to try and retrieve this comic, do it soon.
Yeah.
Because DC has announced they're going to start printing censored versions soon.
Yes, I need to try and get a hold of one of those.
Mm-hmm. Frame it.
Yeah, obviously. I should get a couple, actually.
Yeah.
In the same way we were talking about keeping a few around for posterity's sake.
Oh, I was thinking you make a mural.
A triptych?
Of just the one.
Is that just 3 sequential photos of Batman's penis on your wall? Yes.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it be?
It's a triptych dick.
Yes.
It's a triptych dick. It's a tip. I can't do it.
A trip tip?
No, it's a dick. It's a dick triptych. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I was getting there.
Now, if only it was Nightwing's penis, because then it would be a dick triptych. Anywho,
should we finally get to the actual stuff?
We should get to the actual episode today.
We worked so long to get to that dick joke.
It's just drawn out, that one. We are talking about Ascension, of course, the season finale of Batman 1, or season 1 of Batman Beyond. I can't talk.
That's fine.
Season 1 finale.
You got a mouthful.
That I do. Just in the tip of my tongue here. Mm-hmm. Season 1 finale of Batman Beyond.
You got a big dick in your mouth, Chris.
Yes,
I
sorry.
need you to take it out.
I'm sorry. I get easily distracted.
That's fine.
I made a friend on the way here.
We got Ascension.
Mm-hmm.
Season finale. Season. I was right.
See, I've messed you up now, too.
The season 1 finale, Batman Beyond.
This is what happens when we see Batman's dick. It just scatters everything else in our brains.
We lose all of our words. We are truly rendered speechless.
Lose all sense of focus.
Mm-hmm.
But Batman Beyond.
Yes.
The finale. The return of Blight.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot how brief his time in this series is.
Oh, we don't see him again?
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of
So,
sad.
yeah, I mean, I guess kind of spoiler alert, but we're talking about the episode, so obviously talk about how it ends. But, yeah, this is the last time we see him in the series.
Wow, that is really quick.
It is really surprising. They address his return in a comic series. I've read it. They do a good job with it. But I forgot that it does come about so quickly. I mean, I guess in some ways it does make a lot of sense. This does wrap up some pieces of season 1 in terms of theme. Like, it comes full circle in terms of Terry dealing with his dad's death, because it brings that back. It's the first time that he realizes that he helps create the villains, which I thought was really interesting. Like, he straight up is just like, oh my God, like, I did this. I threw the vial at him and the radiation mutated him. And when Bruce points this out, his response, of course, is good.
Good, yeah. That I was surprised Bruce didn't intervene more after that.
Yeah.
Because this is the same as Robin's Reckoning almost. Of like, yeah, I want to kill him because he took my dad from me.
Yeah.
And I think we even get that at the end where Terry immediately gives up his identity. Of like, I'll give you a hint, you killed my dad.
But not...
With the great retort of like, you got to be more specific.
Yeah, that does nothing to narrow it down.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't give enough away, I would say, to like really make it clear who he is. Because, I mean, Derek's not a dumb guy. He's pretty smart, but I think he's also been driven a little bit crazy.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
By everything that's happened to him. So he may not have been in the clear state of mind to like piece it all together. So they can kind of get past that without really diving into it. But I did think this added a new interesting wrinkle between Bruce and Terry, because this is the first time, I think, when Bruce is really worried about how far Terry will go.
Yeah.
Which I did think was interesting that they then kind of like sidelined Bruce to the latter half of the episode. He doesn't really have any presence in the climax of it, which was surprising.
Yeah. What I would have really loved is if we had another callback to the first episode. It might have been too far, where like you see Bruce walk back down to the Bat Cave and like pull, like, you know, flips open the case of the button that turns off the bat suit. It's like if Terry was going to take it too far, then he was going to like...
Yeah.
Then he was going to have to intervene.
I feel like it does. It does seem like it needs some sort of little piece in there like that. I mean, because the majority of the episode revolves around Derek Powers' son, Paxton, who was, I guess, sent off in exile by his dad to go work in like a South American branch of Wayne Powers.
Yeah.
And he's brought back up to take over as chairman at Wayne Powers because Powers can't be physically present anymore. His body is constantly just deteriorating. So that also added an interesting element of talking about confronting monsters you created. So in the same way that Terry created, well, I mean, it's all kind of cyclical, isn't it? Circular? Cyclical.
There you go.
Cyclical, isn't it? Powers created Terry. Batman created Blight. Powers also made his son who he is, like made his son into this like cold-hearted monster. And it's like all these things coming back for a reckoning simultaneously. Yeah. So I thought there was some cool stuff in here. Just it seems like they didn't maybe go far enough. Do you
think they could have done this as a two-parter? Because like there was a lot we got in this episode. I think if we drew it out into two parts, it might have lagged a lot more.
Yeah,
I think we could have had more characters come up.
I feel like it needs 5 more minutes.
Well, I would have loved Terry interacting with his mom.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah,
we could have gotten Bruce's perspective, his mom's perspective. Just like when I was making my short list, I realized that we don't have, like, we have a few episodes that deal with Terry's school life, but it's always either or. Like, it's either a full episode about him at school, or it connects to something with this school, or there's nothing connecting to it.
That's a good point.
And I would have loved if we would have seen like Terry's anger come out, like as Blight loses control and continues to escape Terry, he kind of becomes more short-tempered at school with his parents, with Bruce. Just like you see that parallel between them. Yeah. Of like, and then Bruce can give a great speech of like, you see how like you see where the line is of how close you are to him. Like all it takes is one bad thing, as the Joker always says.
One bad night.
Takes one bad night for you to become that, so you need to watch yourself.
That would have been really interesting.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah. You know, actually, I think they maybe could have taken it, drawn it out into 2 episodes. I think if they had waited until the end of the first episode for Terry and Bruce to learn. No, here's what we do. I think Bruce finds out first.
And doesn't tell Terry?
Yeah, and then that puts them at odds. That puts a distance between them to the point when Bruce needs to be there to like support him and keep him in line. Terry wants nothing to do with him. Yeah. And I think that would have really pushed up the revenge idea a lot. And it would have been interesting to see Terry watch what happens to Paxton and seeing how cruel Paxton is for seeking revenge on his own dad and like tying that all in together. And I think that would have pushed him back over the edge and like brought him back down to normal.
There we go.
Damn it.
If only we were writers 15 years ago.
Damn it. That really would have made it, I think, a little bit more impactful. I mean, because it's still really good, I think, for the most part. I mean,
it's obviously they didn't have the foresight that we do of like, these are characters that are going to kind of stand the test of time. And it's also the end of season 1. They probably only had 13 episodes. Yeah. But I mean, that's all the order was.
Yeah, we definitely had a few episodes that could have gotten like dismissed, pushed off in the next season in favor of doing something like that. Yeah, I mean it does have some good moments in it. Like I love when they're in the press conference where Powers is saying that Paxton's taking over. I love listening now to like old cartoons with like a proper sound system because you like the background voices are weirdly emphasized. I don't know if it was the same for you when you watched it.
I don't have surround sound.
Okay, but like because you hear just like the other people at the table like, oh my god, what's happening to him? What? He's putting his son in charge? It's like.
Okay, I did hear some
like
of those,
the background people. It's like saying the most obvious thing possible, just in case the cheap seats couldn't figure out what's happening on screen.
Yeah,
someone in the
just to
background's
kind of fill
reminding
time.
them. That I just found that amusing, but I did like when Paxton brings out the bat signal.
That I was very surprised by that.
That was a
I was
cool
not
little
expecting
moment.
it to be him.
Cool moment that he brought that out. Cool one to see that show up in the sky. Interesting then to have it be Paxton, and then awesome that Terry shatters it with a batarang.
Yeah,
It's like you don't get to do that.
yeah, that's not for you.
Yeah. Use email next time.
Use email or this signal, or I have a new signal. If you haven't seen my chest, different insignia,
different logo.
Yeah.
Do you
can
think,
update this, please?
Where do you think he got that from? Do you think it was?
Didn't we see it in an episode before this?
I don't think so.
Did we talk about it?
We talked about it
did.
because they went to in the Shriek episode. They go to the old GCPD building and we see little mementos, like we see an old wanted poster for the Joker on the wall. We never actually saw the bat signal.
I think we talked about we wanted what's her face to have it. Barbara. We wanted Barbara to have it, just like in a closet. Like she didn't want to use it, but her dad gave it to her. Like that was her as she was being promoted to police to commissioner. Like that was her dad's last gift to her of like, here's like you don't need it, but if you want it, it's always here.
You haven't seen Return of the Joker, right?
I've not.
Okay, there's some stuff in there that might explain why Commissioner Gordon may have been reticent to, like, to memorialize, I guess you want to call it, like the bat signal.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit of context there, but I agree with you. It did seem to like be such a significant thing to have it more or less disappear and then just kind of randomly reappear. I would be very curious where that was. I guess he just probably made it. Would be my guess.
It's
right?
not hard.
He probably just bought it off of some random guy who made a replica of it.
Yeah, you cut some cardboard out, you put a light behind it.
Yeah.
It's gotta be, be it a powerful light, but it's really all you need.
Yeah. Just go and grab a mob boss and drape him over the front of it.
Yeah.
Get a bat signal.
Works a lot.
Yeah.
Works really well. Sometimes a few mob bosses, depending on how big the light is.
Yeah. Hopefully they still have, limbs intact. Depends what Batman we're talking about, too.
Yeah.
They might also be riddled with bullets.
We might have to break some of those limbs to get those, like, perfect curves.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, to kind of get the proper V look to it.
Yeah.
You might have to snap those things back and forth a little bit.
But, they'll heal. It's not murder.
Bones heal. It's fine. I was curious if there was one moment. I'm curious what you thought about this. When Terry first finds Powers hiding out on the submarine, he kind of like creeps down and looks at him, and then there's his secretary who's kind of looking at him forlornly, like clearly she had some sort of interest in him, like some sort of unrequited love or whatever. But Powers just like sitting there all alone eating a sandwich, and are we supposed to feel bad for him in that moment?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I kind of felt like they were trying to plant a little bit of that just because all of a sudden Paxton shows up and then, Paxton kind of becomes like the uber villain of the whole episode in many ways. Like he's the prime antagonist at the end of the day. He's kind of fucking everyone over.
Well, so before that we have Bruce talking to Terry because Terry trusts Paxton. Like, oh, he wants to heal him. Or not heal him. We want to weaken him enough where we can throw him in jail.
Yeah.
And Bruce is like, be careful, you're sounding way too trusting. And so I think that moment was Terry. I wish it would have focused on it more of like Terry wanted to hurt him.
Okay.
Like Terry wanted to take him down himself. Like this was his moment of weakness.
Yeah, because it was just an odd beat to have because he sees where Powers is hiding out and then it kind of cuts and we assume that he went off then and go, sort of solidify his deal with Paxton and come back and capture him.
Yeah.
But it just seemed weird to have Powers dangled in front of him for Terry not to do anything. And then they were just, I think, trying to convey a little bit of that idea of like feeling a little bit sorry for him.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, he is more or less murdered by his own son. Which is pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
Also, not a super creative ending. He just gets angry and he's unleashing more and more power as everyone just runs away. And, they tease at the end, oh, did he survive or not? Because, they drag the river and they can't find a body. And Terry kind of leaves that thought in Paxton's mind. It's like, you made a powerful enemy. They didn't find him. Just heads up.
Which I think is a great, like, just such a, not like a psychological threat.
Well, it's the same ending as If You're So Smart, Why Aren't You Rich? I think that did a bit of a better job. That, like, landed that button a lot better than this did. But it's a great idea, and it gives him just enough comeuppance to kind of feel like it's a nice closure to Paxton's story. Actually, he comes back.
Okay. I would assume so, because now he's in charge of Wayne Powers.
Yeah, now he's in there. But it just, it just seemed like everyone was very passive in that last little bit. Like, they try to capture the net, and as soon as that fails, the radiation just crazy enough runs away. But it's like, Paxton's not really doing anything.
Well, Paxton just leaves. He's the first one out of there.
He just runs. But, like, I feel like Powers doesn't really react that much to him leaving. Terry just scoops up the guys and leaves. Bruce, like, oh my God, you got to go. There's no moment of, like, oh, I have to try and save him.
That's what I was waiting for. Was like Terry trying, like, see him just try and jump back in, but then the explosion kind of shoots him away.
Yeah. Or, like, he's like, I have to go back. And Bruce, like, you can't. Like, you can't save them all.
Yeah.
Because I think that would have been an interesting way to, like, put some really complicated guilt on Terry. Like, obviously, he hates this guy and wants him to suffer because he killed his dad. But he also, in turn, wasn't able to save him. I just think that makes for a more interesting moment and more interesting emotional arc.
Yeah.
It just kind of like, it just basically ends.
I know. There wasn't, I mean, we have stories now where that have that emotional punch.
Yeah.
We've had a few episodes here and there so far that have had that.
Yeah.
But I don't think they get to the point until, like, either later in this series or Justice League, they get that punch really well.
Yeah.
And then obviously, like, Young Justice, I think they hit it.
They do that really well.
As many times as they can.
Even Beatos is able to do it pretty well at a lot of points.
Well, I think it was just like a handful, though. Like,
yeah, there's a few. I mean, I think, for me, Over the Edge, the end of that episode from New Batman Adventures.
Yeah, but that was the point where they knew they had adult viewers. Like, this was a show meant for kids.
That's true. That's a very good point, actually, that this was designed specifically for kids in a way that the New Batman Adventures wasn't quite.
Yeah, so as much as we want those emotional punches, like, that wasn't top of mind for them.
Yeah.
They wanted something that was just entertaining for children.
Which it was.
It was.
I loved all this as a kid. I still love most of it now.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
I did catch, since we always love talking about voices.
Yes.
And we talked about this character last week. The fisherman, the Hispanic fisherman, is the same guy that voices El Toro Fuerte.
Oh, really?
From Jackie Chan Adventures.
Oh,
yeah.
my God. That's amazing.
Toro Fuerte does not remove his mask.
Do you have any other thoughts on this, or do you want to start talking about your short list?
I think that's pretty much everything.
I imagine I'm going to have more episodes on my short list than you will.
I mean, that's usually how it goes.
So, yeah, I know.
I'm as so happy as I am about everything, I'm very strict on my short list.
I'm so precious about these. Yeah, because I think what we've decided, it's episodes that are essential, right? Mm-hmm. Or that we really love and feel like people need to see.
Yes.
Okay. So, I actually just wrote down my list. Let me bring up the master list here of all the episodes. We can go through them bit by bit.
Okay, I can start us off.
Okay.
So obviously, Rebirth, part 1 and 2
has to be included.
Yeah, and they're great. I think they might be my favorite 2 episodes of the season.
Well, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they're really solid.
So yeah, obviously Rebirth, Blackout with the intro to Ink. Mm-hmm. It's on my list. Yep.
Yes, for me as well.
Mm-hmm. Golem, where his high school classmate
Willie Watts
controls a giant golem with his mind.
I said no.
I said no as well. I said if you want this episode better, watch Ultimate Spider-Man, the episode where they intro Rhino.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exact same story,
but just better done.
Much better.
Yeah.
Because you know the character's better. Because it's Flash, who everyone knows a lot more than what the fuck is the bully's name in this? It's like a single word, like Blade. Nash.
And
Nelson Nash, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's clearly a playoff.
The girl was Blade, right?
Yeah. No, yeah. Nelson Nash, clearly a playoff Flash Thompson.
Yeah.
Okay, Meltdown.
Mr. Freeze episode. This was my first iffy episode.
I said yes.
Okay.
It's non-essential, but then again, there are a lot of episodes that we've had, like, included in the list before that are non-essential. We just really like. I love this episode.
Okay.
I think it's, from what I remember the rest of the series going forward, I think it's the best handling of a returning original villain. Mm-hmm. I think they are still able to maintain a lot of the depth of Mr. Freeze as a character. I don't think they compromise that in the same way that I thought that his reappearance was, I think, Deep Frost or Deep Freeze, I think, was his only second episode in all of BTOS.
Mm-hmm.
He had 2. That second one, I feel like that just didn't do a lot for him. It kind of cheapened him a little bit. I didn't think that was the case here. I thought they maintained that character's integrity. Mm-hmm. And it's cool to see him going up against Blight. It's kind of the first real appearance of Blight.
Yeah. Oh, sure. I'll put in the yes category. Sure.
I think that was necessary.
I had 2 that were on the fence. So this was that was my first on the fence one.
Heroes with the spin on the Fantastic Four.
No,
I said pass on that too.
Yeah.
Okay, this is one. I'm curious what you think about this one. Shriek.
Yes, I love Shriek.
Okay, I said yes, obviously. I love Shriek as a villain. He has multiple appearances. Awesome design. Cool moments. Like we talked about how much we loved when the sound goes out.
Yeah.
To the middle of the fight. I think it's just a really solid episode and a great villain.
And like such a great ending where he loses his
hearing.
Oh,
right. Yeah. Good comeuppance. All right. Dead Man's Hand.
With the Royal Flush Gang.
Yeah.
I said yes because I love the Royal Flush Gang.
I said yes too.
Okay.
Because again, multiple appearances from them. Great episode. Great characters.
And like I
George
mentioned,
Lazenby. I mean,
like I mentioned earlier in this episode, we don't have a lot where we get both crime fighting and school.
This
is
true.
One where you do see the impact of one affecting the other.
Yeah. Okay.
And that was nice to see.
Got to be there. All right. The Winning Edge with Bane, or we think it's going to be Bane, which turns out to just be
with Venom.
Yeah, with Venom.
I'm maybe leaning more towards no.
Okay, I said yes.
Okay.
I am a sucker for returning villains. I like the twist on this one.
Yeah.
Especially after having Freeze, we expect it actually to be Bane, and I like that they found a way to undercut that and to surprise us. I don't think the ending is necessarily great, but I also like that this does spill over between his 2 worlds a little bit more. We see what the impact of being Batman has on his school life and his personal life when he gets caught with the slappers. I don't know. I think it's a clever way to bring some of those elements in. I like it.
So we said at the beginning, our guidelines are essential to the story or just an unbelievable episode. The other 2 that we've mentioned, Freeze and Royal Flush Gang, I just think are better. And this, like, it's a good story. Like you said, I do enjoy that it bleeds between the 2 worlds. I just feel like it's just like it was just okay to me. Like the ending was fine. Like the fight scene was good. Where he gets to beat up his teacher was good. But I don't know. I just feel like I've seen this plot done better in other places. Again, this is another like. I'm going to make, throughout this whole series, I'm going to make a lot of comparisons to Spider-Man.
Yeah. Because I mean, the whole thing is just a ripoff of Spider-Man.
It absolutely is. And I've seen all of Ultimate Spider-Man more recently than the few episodes of this I've seen before. And so this episode, I feel like there was a Spider-Man episode that had this plot.
Should we give it a maybe and like look back at the end and do a final decision later? Are you an emphatic no on this one?
I'm still a hard maybe.
Okay.
If you want it to be a yes, then I'll be fine with it.
We'll give it a maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. What comes next?
Spellbound.
Ooh. Okay.
Yes. Love him.
Same.
Great villain.
Great design. Just
a villain I can
story.
actually back up because underpaid teachers is a big problem.
It's a big problem. We get where he's coming from.
I've been. You walked in on me watching Sabrina the Teenage Witch. There was actually an episode about like the teacher going crazy because he's not being paid enough, and I'm like, that's right. That's a problem.
It's only gotten worse.
Yeah. This was a show made in 1996.
Yeah, it's only gotten significantly worse. So
actually, have you seen all the Times covers? It's like heartbreaking.
Oh no, what was the time? I think I missed it.
There's it's 3 rotating Times covers, but it's different teachers and kind of their story. And it's like, I have a master's degree, 15 years of experience, put in $1,000 into my classroom every year, and I still have to work 2 other jobs to pay rent.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm a teacher in America, and it's kind of like 3 other comments like that. It's like, fuck, man, we gotta figure this shit out.
No, it's crazy. I think this seems an appropriate time to do a shout out to friend of the show, Ashley Clark, who's always writing in nice messages. She's a teacher.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and she participated in one of the teacher strikes that happened on the East Coast earlier this year. Power to her, because
good for you.
Yeah, like why don't we pay teachers
Kick some
more?
ass. Yeah,
like, God, fucking education is the solution to all problems.
Yeah, I didn't. a few more minutes on this. I didn't realize how bad the situation was until college because I was, very spoiled, went to private school, and all my teachers were rich from other things, so they didn't care about money anymore.
Yeah.
But there was a girl on my floor when I lived in the dorms freshman year who was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to be a teacher, and I'm going to move to, Switzerland. I'm like, why? And it's like, because that's where teachers are paid the most in the world. Like, that's the country where they're on par with doctors. And I'm like, oh, shit, that's right. That should be a thing.
It should be a thing.
Yeah.
It's insane.
But, it's a problem for another day. Or it's not. It's not. We can't contribute to that battle as much at the moment.
No. What a broken fucking world we live in.
I know.
At least we have Batman's penis.
At least we got Bad Dick.
And
Wreck-It Ralph and Mary Poppins in a decent Bumblebee movie.
All these joyous distractions. Okay, yeah. So I think yes on Spellbound.
Disappearing Ink's second reappearance.
Yes.
I said yes.
Okay, good. I said yes, mostly just for
Barbara.
Oh, right, for Barb. Well, no, Barbara's more in Touch of Curare.
That's right. Sorry.
I said yes to Disappearing Ink because of the exosuit.
Oh yeah. Okay. I got these episodes mixed up.
Yeah.
Because I forgot. I thought this was the episode with Barbara. Now I'm feeling a no.
Come on, the exosuit scene. It's
fine.
good.
I know it's your favorite piece of animation.
The single best scene so far in the series. We get a little bit more as to why Bruce hung up the cape. It's the only time he basically tries to get back in the fight, which explains why he doesn't keep doing it as we go further down the line. Ink's a good villain.
I know she's good, but this whole episode was just it was fine.
Okay, let me put it this way.
I'll give you one or the other. Because one of these is a yes and one of these is a no. You're either going to get Disappearing Ink or a Touch of Curare.
But I think we have to include Touch of Curare because
of Barbara.
There's essential information.
Yeah, but
so
God, I did not like that episode.
I know, but I think that falls into the necessary episodes.
I know.
It's we have to include Touch of Curare because we get the full history of what happened between
Can we do
the two of them.
Do an asterisk next to it and then just give a time code of 8/12 through 14/6.
Well, here, why don't we do this?
And then close parentheses.
Why don't we do this? I think we have to include a Touch of Curare, but I am inclined to want to keep both the Winning Edge and Disappearing Ink. I don't think we can keep both.
I'll give you one.
Okay. I would take Disappearing Ink over the Winning Edge.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Okay, so as you go, Winning Edge. So I'm so sorry, Bane. So sorry, Slappers. I'm so sorry, Clunky Steroid PSA. Off you go. Okay, so we're going to keep Disappearing Ink. We're going to keep A Touch of Curare. And I think we have to keep Ascension.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's just there's a lot of necessary stuff in there. Okay.
So it's what, 10 of the 13 episodes?
Yeah, if you count the first one's 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, Rebirth, Blackout, Meltdown, Shriek, Dead Man's Hand, Spellbound, Disappearing Ink, A Touch of Curare, Ascension.
Great.
That's pretty good, though. I mean,
there's not much fat to trim. That's the thing.
And I think that says a lot. I mean, if you look back on I think season 1 of Superman may be the one we never actually did on air, but you and I think, went and did it on our own at some point. And that was only 13 episodes. Oh, actually, we did keep a lot of that. I was surprised by how much of that we kept.
Good. Yeah, because I want you to send those to me so I can make a cool graphic for them.
Yeah. But yeah, we were pretty liberal. Oh, actually, no. Superman season 3, I think, was our shortest ever. Yes, it was. 7 episodes of Superman season 3.
Of 20?
I think it was only 13.
Okay.
As well. So, we were less cruel this time than we were on that one. But I think all these are still really solid. I think overall this is a really solid season.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great. It got me excited for the show. I mean, I was already excited, but my best friend Dylan constantly tells me that Batman Beyond is his favorite series.
Yeah.
And he's finally catching up on the podcast.
Oh, nice.
And he messaged me the other day being like, I forgot that you're not a fan of the show. And I forgot that this is where our friendship ends.
I mean,
it's not that I'm not a fan. I just don't remember it, and I don't think I've ever watched it all the way through.
Right. I think this is going to play out in opposite fashion. We get a Static Shock, where I'm probably going to just be going through of a machete, just chopping out episodes left and right. Be like, this is garbage. This is terrible. Off it goes, and you'll be clutching at them desperately.
No, I mean, I'm still usually the one that cuts more. That cuts more. I think I'm going to be harsher on Static just because, like, there'll be a few episodes where I'm like, we have to have it. Like, anything with Steve Nash or Shaq. Because Shaq has, like, 6 episodes. Like, I look back and I forget that, like, he was a minor character in this series. Like, I have to keep those episodes.
Well, to maintain my status as the villain of the podcast, I'm going to try and cut out as many of those episodes as I possibly can.
I will fight you on the Shaq episode. There's an episode where, like, Shaq plays basketball with his dad, and it's so sweet.
With Shaq's dad or with Virgil's dad?
With Virgil's dad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just Shaq playing basketball with his dad.
Just give a little wave, quick cameo appearance, keep moving on. All right. Well, I think it's pretty good, though.
Yeah.
Got down to 10 and 13. That's pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
You won there. You got one of my favorites cut out.
Good.
So.
Good.
Bastard. I don't really have much in terms of notes from friends this week, although I want to do a quick shout out to an Instagram account, Backyard Battles. He just started listening to the episode and commented. He said he really is enjoying the podcast, and he does a whole bunch of really cool like toy themed photography.
Okay, I think I scrolled through some of his stuff.
Yeah, there's really cool stuff. There's Batman stuff in there. There's like G.I. Joe. It's all
G.I. Joe.
Knowing is half the battle. Let's see if I can.
The other half is murder.
Always murder. Yeah, like he just posted one. Yeah, like this one's pretty good of like Batman, Robin, and Batgirl fighting Clayface.
That's great.
Yeah, there's some really, really good stuff in here. So yeah, go check that out. But what do you have to plug this week, my friend?
What do I have to plug? That's a good question. I watched. We mentioned at the top of the podcast. I watched Maniac over the weekend.
Yeah,
it's fine. I wanted a more kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like not psychedelic, but
a little bit trippier, maybe a little bit more like mind bending.
Yes, yeah. I wanted something that was gonna like make me question a lot because they kind of pitched it as like, is this real? Is this not real? Like, what is actually happening with these characters? And it's a lot more straightforward than I was expecting.
Okay.
Like, I think it does a great job explaining, not really explaining, but like going into how weird and sporadic dreams are. Because what's the supposed study is we have 7 dreams a night and we only remember
I have no idea.
one of them.
I've never heard that.
Yeah. I remember hearing that somewhere years ago. I doubt it's true. It's probably just someone spouting bullshit.
You probably dreamt it.
Yeah, I probably had a dream about it.
Yeah.
One of the 7. But I think it does a pretty good job of kind of like showing how weird, because all the mini stories inside of it, similar to dreams, don't really have a beginning. They just kind of start, and they don't really have an ending either. They just kind of end when they wake up. It's like that aspect is kind of cool, but everything else, like I wanted like weird connections. I was paying super close attention of like, oh, that's gonna come back. Like that's gotta come back. That's gotta come back. And nothing really did.
That's too bad.
It's a very straightforward kind of story, which was kind of upsetting.
And I would have expected, more given, again, the director, and then also just given the way it was marketed, it seemed like it was being kind of like trippy and weird and fun. And I was very skeptical about it. I'm not a huge Jonah Hill fan.
I will say he is really good in this. Like both him and Emma Stone. Yeah. Like it's not enough to like sell people on it.
Yeah.
But I think it's one of his best performances.
I think maybe that was part of the reason I wasn't that interested in it is it looked like they didn't know how to advertise it, so they were just hanging the advertising on those 2 leads. I'm like, they're not enough to get me involved.
Right.
So
there was one actor that I couldn't place him for the longest time until I Googled it. But initially when they start this kind of drug, the whole thing is about them doing a drug test to kind of be a new level of therapy.
Okay.
And the doctor administering this test is a Japanese actor. And I'm like, what do I know you from? Like, I know that hair from something. And there was I don't think you'll remember the show, but on G4, back when it was like only Ninja Warrior and Cops, they had another show called Unbeatable Banzuke.
Don't know this.
It's a great, weird show.
Okay.
But the host of that show plays the doctor in this one.
Okay.
And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here? Because Unbeatable Banzuke is like, it's almost like, what's the weirdest Guinness Book of World Records record you can get kind of show, where it's like, oh, we have this giant obstacle course you have to do on a bike where you're not allowed to pedal. You just have to hop the bike along, or like get on stilts. You have to go. There's a bunch of obstacle courses.
Oh my god!
It's like you have to do one on stilts, on a bike, on a pogo stick. There's one where you're on a giant like rubber ball and you have to roll yourself around. It's just this bizarre show, but I loved it so much. It's like quintessential Japan game show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does sound that way.
Mm-hmm. But I'm like, what are you doing here? You're not an actor. You're a host.
Just randomly popping up in Maniac of all things.
Mm-hmm.
So bizarre.
Yeah, it was fine. And then I also watched House with the Clock in the Walls.
Oh, okay.
The new Jack Black film. It's okay.
Yeah, I was kind of curious about it.
I mean, it's kind of like the Halloween film of this year.
Yeah.
Like it's not gonna no one's gonna remember it a year from now.
Yeah, it just kind of.
But like if you want to get in the spirit, it's very Halloweeny.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do kind of want to go check that one out.
And fucking Kyle MacLachlan is the villain.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh, right
I was very
yes.
I was like, what are you doing here?
I'm all on board now.
Like,
all in.
I remember I saw his name in the opening credits, and I'm like, wait, what? No, him? What's he doing here? What? And then you don't see his face until like an hour into the movie. And I'm like, what? No, you're not in this movie. They can't afford you.
Yes.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah. No, I was curious about that one because I like Jack Black a lot. I like Cate Blanchett a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very curious to see Eli Roth do something that wasn't just like torture porn.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. It's nothing to like jump out of your seats over.
Okay.
Like the special effects are pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It's this was I messaged my friend about this. If you want a good, because they're all wizards. If you want a good wizard story that kind of was looked over and it's not Harry Potter, go watch The Sorcerer's Apprentice.
That was actually okay.
I really enjoyed that movie.
Yeah.
And everyone hated on it just because it's Nick Cage. But I think Sorcerer's Apprentice is a better version of the story they're trying to tell here.
I mean, I like Jay Baruchel a lot. I think he does a really good job with kind of like bumbling charming.
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays that character over and over again.
He's the more expensive Michael Cera.
He's more expensive than Michael Cera?
I mean, he was always like a little older. I always saw him as the older Michael Cera.
Okay, I think that's a better way of putting it. Yeah,
okay.
I think Michael Cera's probably pretty expensive.
Probably now, yeah.
Yeah. But I like Jay Baruchel, and that's actually a decent movie, yeah. Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Yeah. What have you been watching, listening, reading?
I did want to plug an episode from Maddie Washburn and The Vanishing Point on YouTube. He did a whole breakdown of trying to tie in where the Royal Flush Gang kind of came from.
I watched it. It was
you
really
did?
good.
Okay,
yeah, I started following them on YouTube.
Yeah, because he was trying to figure out how to explain the various iterations we've seen, because when they're introduced in Batman Beyond, obviously, they're introduced as like this legacy family of criminals. But then when we meet them in the past, in Justice League, they are all
Katniss.
They're all Cadmus people. Yeah, they've been all trained by Cadmus and recruited by the Joker. So there's like a discrepancy, and he tries to kind of like figure out where that discrepancy plays out. It's really good. So definitely check that out. And then I started watching, I'm only one episode in, but The Man in the High Castle on Amazon.
Oh, I heard it's amazing.
Yeah, I've been liking it so far. I mean, the whole conceit is that it's set in 1962, but the Axis won World War II. So Germany and the Third Reich, they control the vast majority of the United States, and then Japan controls more or less the Pacific, and then kind of anything around the Rockies is deemed neutral territory.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I love alternate history. It's like, I don't know if it's a genre per se, but it's like my favorite structure, if you will, for storytelling. It's part of the reason why like New Frontier is one of my favorites. I just love that whole idea. And yeah, it's been pretty good so far, and I hear it continues to get really good. So yeah, I've been enjoying it.
Yeah, I've heard that's a really good series.
It's worth a watch. Well, I normally pair a drama and a comedy together, and I'm well into Golden Girls at this point. I felt like I needed to go ahead and bring in a drama.
Yeah.
So that's what I opted for.
Bring yourself back down.
Yeah. I still love the Golden Girls, by the way. It's still amazing.
Did you get to the episode I was talking about?
Oh, where Rose sleeps with the man and kills him?
Sex a man to death?
I did watch that one. It's really good. Oh, poor Rose. She just keeps killing people.
Yeah.
Oh, Betty White. Bless your heart. But yeah, that's what I've been checking up on. It's been pretty good.
Nice.
So, anyways, I think that does it for us.
I think so.
I don't think we have any more we can talk about Batman's dick. Until next week.
Yeah, until next week.
I need to just ponder it some more.
Until we have the great injustice of censoring.
I know.
When we start the next nerd war.
I am going to get my hands on a copy of that comic.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I have no doubt.
Be my mission. I'll die trying.
I imagine like 20 years from now, like this is the black market, like nerd industry.
Yeah.
Like I hear you got some of that bat dick.
That bad dick. That bad dick.
It's like, yeah, man, it's $400.
Yeah.
$400 for a ripped corner of the page.
Yeah. Little fox in the edges, but it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hey, if you bought that comic and want to talk to us about it, you can reach us at Timm Talk Pod on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Gmail.
That's right.
Personally recommend Instagram is the best place to get a hold of us. I am at Lordifer on Twitter and Instagram.
I am at, if you want to see my art, it's at Cameron.Dexter. And if you want to see my face, it's at CamDexter_adventures.
Woo!
I don't know why I always have to act like I'm thinking about it. Because I do forget.
Yeah, 'cause you
constantly.
actually do have to think about it. You're not acting. That's
I'm
you
not.
legitimately
That is
trying,
me, like, actually, like, shit, what is my handle?
trying to remember the handle you've been saying
What is my
every week.
name?
Every week for almost 100 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
I know,
Actually-
we're getting close to episode 100.
We've actually
Numbered episode
Number 100, yeah. So we've done more than 100 of it.
Yeah.
More than 100 weeks at this point. So you really should know it at this point, Cameron.
I should.
really-
I've had this account.
It's embarrassing for you. It's
You know,
embarrassing for me.
I actually started the
Embarrassing for
account
them.
like just like a month before we started the podcast. Yeah. Well, I mean, the Cam Dexter one was started for Comic-Con.
Oh, that's
It
right.
was specifically made for Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And like, I guess I'll keep this around.
Shame.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
Yeah, I'm ashamed of myself.
As you should be. I love you anyways. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.